Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a horror film, Whispering Corridors Part 3, Wishing Stairs. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie starts with a woman walking upstairs, counting her steps. When she reaches the last step, the 29th, she asks for a fox to grant her wish. The scene then cuts into a ballet class where the teacher calls a student named Beauty, cueing her to change the music. Beauty's best friend, nicknamed Lady Bro, comes to drink water, and Beauty shows her the concert ticket in her pocket. They run off their class, and Lady Bro shares her concern about whether they should go, and Beauty replies that it was Lady Bro's idea to go to the concert in the first place. Meanwhile, a fat girl named Greasy sings happy birthday to herself with a doll in a dirty stockroom. Greasy talks to her doll like a person, while eating her cake using her bare hands. After this, Greasy tries to sleep while hugging a pair of ballet shoes. A bully student short-named Bully Girl comes in to put a sculpture inside and sees her on the couch. She notices that it's Greasy's birthday and asks why she's so fat because Greasy can eat a cake all by herself. Bully Girl continues to move the sculpture and tells Greasy to use the room together to hide. Bully Girl sees a sculpture of a wishing stair made by Greasy, and she makes fun of how childish it is to believe that it makes wishes come true. Later that day, Beauty and Lady Bro talk about the 29th step of the wishing stairs while walking home from the concert. Lady Bro says that if the 29th step appears, the fox grants their wish. Lady Bro wishes to be a famous ballerina, while Beauty says that all she wants is Lady Bro. Lady Bro pushes her on the forehead for being silly, but their fun moment gets interrupted when Beauty's mom calls her on the phone. The two friends part ways after the call. The following day, during their gym class, Greasy borrows Beauty's gym clothes even if they don't fit her. Beauty gives it to Greasy, who gets bullied by her classmates by how the clothes are ripped because of her size. Meanwhile, Lady Bro's teacher scolds her, finding out she skipped class to see a concert yesterday. The teacher says to Lady Bro that the other girls aren't just as good as her and she should practice even if it kills her. Beauty admits that she was the one who forced Lady Bro to watch the concert. The teacher finds out that Beauty is lying before and just making up excuses because she doesn't have an injury and is not actually seeing a doctor. Lady Bro arrives at her dorm where Beauty calls her phone, but Beauty cannot hear her. Later that night, a hand banging on her window wakes Lady Bro up. The sudden bang on her window frightens her, so that she yells and crawls out of bed. The mysterious troublemaker turns out to be Beauty, who sneaked out of her parents' house. Beauty tells Lady Bro that she wants to sleep there. In the middle of the night, Beauty shares that her mom is the reason she's taking ballet. She adds that she wants to live with Lady Bro when they turn 20. Later on, Greasy talks to her dolls, and she draws about the 29th step of the wishing stairs and what she wishes for her to lose weight so she could join the ballet class. The following day, a notice arrives at their school indicating that only one student can learn ballet at a Russian ballet school. Lady Bro eavesdrops on the faculty and discovers that Beauty has the highest possibility of being a transfer student because of her ballet skills. The teacher adds that this opportunity will force Beauty to part away from Lady Bro. Lady Bro almost falls down the stairs after hearing this, but Beauty suddenly grabs her and hugs her. In an art museum, Lady Bro looks at the wishing stairs made by Greasy. Lady Bro gets startled by her, who looks different from all the weight she lost. Lady Bro compliments her and asks about her artwork. Greasy shares that if the 29th step appears, the person's wish will be granted. Lady Bro doesn't believe it, but Greasy said she had begged the stairs to make her lose weight. Beauty borrows Lady Bro's ballet shoes during their class as she cannot find hers. While she's performing, the others talk about how good she is. The teacher informs them only one student can be chosen for the competition, and they will have an audition to make a proper selection. As the class ends, the others continue to talk about how it's an automatic win for Beauty. After everyone leaves, Lady Bro talks to the teacher, asking her to give her the role. However, the teacher refuses, saying that she needs more passion and desire as the part is challenging. Later that day, Beauty sees Lady Bro outside the school and calls her attention, but Lady Bro ignores her. Beauty approaches Lady Bro and asks her to come to buy new toe shoes. However, Lady Bro ignores her again and walks away, even if Beauty attempts to stop her. The next scene shows Lady Bro counting her steps as she walks up the fox's stairs with her eyes closed. As she reaches the 20th step, the 29th step appears, and she suddenly feels the strong wind. Lady Bro prays to the fox to grant her wish for her to join the competition. After saying her wish, the wind weakens. On the following day, Beauty's alone in the classroom as everyone has left after their training. Bully Girl returns the gym clothes that she borrowed from Beauty and then runs away. Meanwhile, Lady Bro is also alone in the locker room where she finds toe shoes with a letter from Beauty. When another student is about to enter the locker room, they hear her break a glass inside the room. Lady Bro returns the shoes to Beauty before the audition starts. After a while, it begins, and the judges are amazed by Beauty's skills. After the audition, Beauty chases after Lady Bro and asks if the competition is why she's been avoiding her lately. Lady Bro confesses that she hates how Beauty makes her feel miserable. She's about to leave when Beauty warns her to end their friendship. After this, Beauty embraces her from behind, not wanting to let her go. But Lady Bro forcefully frees herself, causing Beauty to accidentally fall down the stairs, injuring her legs. Because of this, Lady Bro represents their school, and on the day of the competition, Lady Bro gets the support of her teacher and other students. Lady Bro cannot hide her happiness as they announce that she's the winner. After the competition, Lady Bro goes to the hospital to visit Beauty, but accidentally overhears Beauty arguing with her mother about her future as a ballerina. Lady Bro comes in and tries to talk to Beauty, but she cannot even look at Lady Bro anymore after what happened. Later that night, Lady Bro hears Beauty's voice apologizing to her because she was caught in the rain after leaving her umbrella in the hospital. Lady Bro dismisses the umbrella issue and asks Beauty how she's able to stand. Beauty assures her that her legs are okay and congratulates her for winning the competition. Beauty tells her that all she needs is Lady Bro, and the two start jumping on the bed. Lady Bro wakes up when she falls on the floor, and she realizes that it's just a dream. Lady Bro dismisses this and goes to school, where she notices her classmates gossiping about her. A classmate approaches and informs her that Beauty is dead. Lady Bro collapses and loses consciousness from too much shock. On the other side, a scene in the hospital shows Beauty's mother witnessing her daughter jump out of the window. After a while, Lady Bro wakes up in their school clinic and informs the teacher that Beauty was in her room last night and they had fallen asleep together. After the news of her death, the school and students pay respect to Beauty by taking down her pictures in the school bulletin. Later that night, Lady Bro asks to transfer room for her own good. Greasy carries her things upstairs because she will exchange rooms with Lady Bro. Her things fall in the hallway. Lady Bro helps her and notices that she has many dolls. Greasy hurriedly picks up her things and quickly brings them to her room. Even later that night, Greasy goes to the stockroom, where she retrieves a bag from a cabinet. She opens the bag, takes out the pair of ballet shoes, and holds them in her arms while crying. Bully Girl coincidentally happens to be there and sees her. The following day, Bully Girl exposes Greasy's obsession with Beauty. Bully Girl shows Greasy's bag containing Beauty's pictures and stuff. Greasy pushes Bully Girl to the ground and is about to hit her with a table, but she puts it down and picks up her obsession stuff about Beauty instead. Greasy's classmates notice that she's eaten a lot during their break. She explains that she's famished, and her classmates insult her by giving all of her food to her while laughing. Greasy shouts at them with her greasy mouth full before running her greasy ass outside. Later that day, Greasy counts her steps as she walks up the wishing stairs. As she reaches the 28th step, the 29th appears, and she wishes Beauty to be back. The following day, their teacher asks the class to give Lady Bro a round of applause for being invited to go to a Russian ballet school. However, her classmates remain unmoved and refuse to provide her with any congratulation. After class, Greasy remains at the school as it's raining. She returns inside as her shoes are soaking wet and wanders around the hallway. She finds a red umbrella and she plays with it. Suddenly, thunder strikes, and Greasy sees someone behind her. Greasy rushes to the bathroom and calms herself by washing her face. After this, Greasy goes to the art room, where she listens to the radio while making a sculpture. She takes a handful of her medicine, then looks at her radio as it starts to laugh. Greasy looks back at her sculpture, and it suddenly has eyes staring at her. Greasy falls to the floor from shock and fear, but the table behind her moves and the radio starts moving. Greasy covers her ears until the radio stops. She stands up and approaches the radio when it suddenly makes a sound, frightening her. Greasy throws it to the ground and destroys it. The window suddenly opens while she's on the floor, covering her eyes from too much fear. Greasy looks out the window and finds Beauty standing. However, Beauty is really not there, and what she's seeing is the pigmentation of her imagination from the medicine she has taken. Greasy stands up, confused about what's happening. As she looks in the mirror, she sees Beauty in a reflection. Beauty talks behind her back and says she wants to be close to Greasy. On the other side, Lady Bro teaches a ballet student the proper movements. Lady Bro plays the radio, but it's not working, so the student suggests they stop. While they're taking a shower, she asks about the toe shoes that Lady Bro exchanged for Beauty, but Lady Bro refuses to answer her. Suddenly, the electricity goes out and Lady Bro tells her to turn it on, but it's not her doing. Lady Bro looks outside, and the light and shower are back on. She continues her shower, where the water turns to blood, frightening her. The dorm also lost electricity, and the students are saying to their teacher that they saw a ghost. The teacher tells them that it's just the wind and they should go back to their room. Meanwhile, Greasy continues to hallucinate Beauty with her when she's all alone. Meanwhile, Lady Bro returns to her room, holding a flashlight while looking around. The doorknob suddenly begins to rattle, so Lady Bro asks who's trying to open it, and the person replies that she's Greasy. Greasy rushes inside and tells Lady Bro that the noises are keeping her up. She asks Lady Bro if she can sleep with her tonight, but Lady Bro declines. She adds that it's just the wind, and she should return to her room before they get yelled at. Greasy apologizes to her before leaving. The following day, the other girls talk about whether they should make a wish. Bully Girl excuses herself, saying that she left something in her room, but when no one's around, she makes a wish to the stairs. During their art class, the teacher gives instructions on what they should do when sculpting. Bully Girl excuses herself and goes outside to do her artwork. She goes to the dirty stockroom, where she pretends to be interviewed while sculpting. However, she is frustrated about her artwork. Then Bully Girl hears a rat crawling in the pipe, so she throws a rock at it, but dust falls on her. Bully Girl shakes it away while sitting down and finds Greasy as she turns around. She tells her to stay away from her and insults Greasy that she smells bad. Greasy defends herself, saying that it's her chair before pulling Bully Girl's hair. Bully Girl frees herself and walks away, but Greasy shows up again. Greasy tells Bully Girl that she knows her wish and claims she will make her wish come true today. Greasy suddenly starts stabbing Bully Girl, who cannot defend herself, and bathes in her blood later on. Greasy pulls Bully Girl out of the room just before the teacher goes to the stockroom. He looks around and sees the sculpture Bully Girl is doing. The teacher writes some message on a piece of paper to encourage Bully Girl. It turns out it's not a sculpture, it's Bully Girl's dead body. Shortly after, Greasy talks to Beauty, saying that it was too far and they didn't need to do that. However, Greasy knows that she will do everything Beauty tells her to do, because she doesn't want to be abandoned by her. Beauty reassures her that it will not happen. Meanwhile, Lady Bro receives a letter from the Russian ballet school, but the mail is empty. Lady Bro goes down to her teacher to ask where it is, but as she opens the lights, she finds a surprise for her from her classmates. They congratulate Lady Bro on her admission and tell her that they planned it for her and they are friends after all. Lady Bro thanks them, blows the candles, and they wish her a nice trip. However, it turns out her classmates still blame her for Beauty's death and throw the cake to her face before leaving. After the unpleasant surprise, Lady Bro goes to the stairs where she pushes Beauty down. She walks away when she hears something falling, so she checks it, but there's nothing. She turns around when Beauty's ghost suddenly grabs her legs. Lady Bro wakes up and realizes it's a dream. Later that day, while she's sitting on the wishing stairs, Lady Bro receives a text from Greasy telling her to come to the sculpture room at 7 o'clock. She goes to the sculpture room and finds it empty when someone covers her eyes from behind. It's Greasy pretending to be Beauty. Greasy gives Lady Bro a seat and tells her to wait because she has prepared something for her. The mirror's reflection shows that Greasy is Beauty and she's giving wine to Lady Bro. Greasy goes outside to get a corkscrew as she doesn't have one. Lady Bro stands up and uncovers a sculpture Greasy made, revealing Beauty's face. Lady Bro backs away in shock when she accidentally bumps into other sculptures, causing them to fall. Lady Bro goes out of the sculpture room and sees Greasy sitting down with blood and crying. Greasy asks Lady Bro for help because Beauty keeps following her. Lady Bro approaches her and Greasy suddenly hugs her and claims that all she needs is Lady Bro. Lady Bro pushes Greasy away and tries to run, but Greasy stops her. Lady Bro pushes Greasy again, causing her to fall down the stairs and get locked out as the doors are locked. Lady Bro hurriedly goes down to the dirty stockroom, locks the door, and hides. However, she hears Greasy knocking and says she knows that Lady Bro is inside. Greasy breaks the window, unlocks the door, and begins looking around. Greasy loudly says that it's alright even if Lady Bro pushes her down the stairs and says that all she needs is her. Lady Bro accidentally hits a doll as she crawls, making Greasy aware of her whereabouts. Lady Bro tells Greasy that she didn't push Beauty down the stairs and that she's crazy. Suddenly, Bully Girl's body gets covered with maggots and falls on Lady Bro, making her scream in fear and disgust. Lady Bro picks up a chisel and tells Greasy to get out of the way, but Greasy blocks her. Greasy asks Lady Bro if she doesn't know who she is. She then tells Lady Bro that she is Beauty. Lady Bro runs away, but Greasy grabs her by the foot. Lady Bro forces herself out and runs away. Greasy says that she likes Lady Bro so much and starts hitting herself. After that, she picks up a lighter and drops it on the floor, burning the room with her inside, all because Lady Bro doesn't like her. The next scene shows Lady Bro packing her things for her transfer to the Russian ballet school. Lady Bro reminisces about something, and a flashback reveals that she put the shards of glasses inside the toe shoes before returning them to Beauty. The flashback ends, and Lady Bro talks to herself in the mirror, encouraging herself. She turns off the lights when the wind suddenly gets strong and the window slams open. She sees someone wearing a gown crawling inside. As she looks closer, she realizes that it's Beauty's ghost. She is taken back by this, but her closet closes while Beauty stands inside. The closet begins to shake, making her scream. Suddenly, the shaking stops. When she checks it out, Beauty is no longer there. Lady Bro sighs in relief, but Greasy, who turns out to be inside the closet, also hugs her. Lady Bro pushes her away, and they suddenly get transported to the school. Lady Bro feels someone dancing ballet behind her, but there's no one when she turns around. Lady Bro goes inside the ballet room, where she finds Beauty's ghost floating around. Lady Bro screams before running to the wishing stairs, to wish to make it all go back. Suddenly, a face from the stairs grabs her, but Lady Bro desperately reaches the top and wishes to make it all turn around. Beauty's ghost jumps from the tree, prompting her to run. Beauty asks why she's avoiding her. Beauty says that Lady Bro is all that she has and asks her if they can go back. Beauty tells her that she's scared to leave her and let her go alone. Lady Bro responds that she didn't hate Beauty, and all she wanted was to win, even once. Beauty assures her that it's okay because they're friends and she wants to be with her forever while holding her hand tightly, causing Lady Bro to fall down the stairs. Months later, a new student moves into Lady Bro's old room. She opens the window and some of Lady Bro's things are still inside. The film ends with the new student finding an old picture of Beauty and Lady Bro, when Beauty's eyes suddenly turn white. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.